during New York session, housing price index for Canadian dollar, consumer confidence, and we also have President Lagarde speaking all during New York session on Monday. Also today is Chinese New Year, so Asia session should be slow. It's a bank holiday. Oh, 1 second. All right, this might happen a few times just because of the cord issue, the adapter issue. But let's try this again. All right. Okay. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, Chinese New Year today in Asia, so I'm not sure how the markets will open this week. Last few weeks have been gapping up. They might do the same, but we'll see what happens. Monday though, New York session, very busy. Tuesday during New York session, we have, I'm gonna go back to daily effects. Lot of news during London session. London open for the first 2 hours. Lagarde speaking again on Tuesday, so Monday and Tuesday. Then a lot of different news for all major currencies in Europe. So it should be very interesting. We have NZD inflation rates, Australian inflation rates. And that should be on, during Asia session on Tuesday. So AUD and gold are going to move big during Asia session on Tuesday. Wednesday, Bank of Canada monetary policy report and rate statement. So CAD is going to be moving big on Wednesday. This is during New York session. Thursday, advanced GDP, unemployment claims for USD right at New York open. So that's going to be.
Didn't China purchase gold?
Yeah, I gotta look.
Or sold gold,
headlines,
one
but
of them
I
too.
haven't actually read it, but I do need to look into that.
I don't know if it was sold or they bought some more gold, but yeah.
All right, I'll find out for sure here afterwards. All right.
Master Reversal should know.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did post that. What was it that China did recently? They said they're buying gold, or there's not that much demand for gold.
I think this wasn't too much demand. I'm not sure. I just schemed through it real quick and
I'll look on investing.com later and see. All right. What is going on? Where did this come from? Okay. And that's really it for the news. And then core, what's PCE stand for? Producer, core expenditure. Personal consumption expenditure. So core PCE on Friday, New York session. Every single day this week there's high impact news. It's going to be very busy. Every single day during New York session there's high impact news, London session, and then Wednesday there is high impact news during Asia session, or Tuesday. Sorry. Yeah, but high impact news every single day during London and New York. All right, we're going to go start with gold. Let's get this full screen. Okay, looking at gold here. On the left side is the 4-hour chart, and the right side is the 1 weekly time frame. You can see we didn't close as strong of a bullish candle as last week. So it does look like there's going to be some sort of retracement coming down. If 1920 breaks, then we could see 1900, which is the previous week's low. And if that breaks, then we are for sure going to see 1890 and 1880, 1870 price range down in here. Some type of reaction before we either see a continuation, back up. And based on how these candles closed last week, it has me thinking that we're going to go down first. They didn't close out strong. And 1955 right up here is the Fibonacci extension target, the negative 61.8. So price is most likely going to come up to 1955. I just don't know if it will gap up like it has been these last two weeks, where it's just open bullish and kept going higher, or if we're going to make a retracement first. But we could, see a move up, then it come back down like such, or see it come down first and then see a large bullish run up later in the week, like on Tuesday or Wednesday. But either way, 1955 and this area right here, 1880, 1870, possibly good buy area. And if that breaks, though, then there's a lot of room. There's a really big range all the way down to 1830, 1820. Really big range down here. So 1870 breaks, there's going to be a lot of market open, same price. Yeah, I won't really sure. I'm not really sure until let's see whether this like lower time frame level breaks right here, and then 1920 will be the confirmation. But yeah, it's kind of in like a tight area consolidation, as you can see on the 1 hour, and then if we go to the 30-minute, okay, you can see on the, oh, I didn't realize I had that selected. So okay, but you see on the 30 minutes just consolidating, hit the high, didn't make any new lows, just stuck. So I really just, and with the Chinese New Year going on, I almost feel like it is just gonna, try and sell off first before going higher, just because there won't be as much volume from the bigs or anything. But we'll see. Market open start of the week does a lot. But based on the weekly time frame, we didn't close that strong, but we didn't validate the bullish trend. But it does look like a decent sized pullback's coming, and you can see on the weekly, if the last weekly low breaks, not last week's, but 2 weeks ago at 1865, that's where that clear range comes from, just all the way down here. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it could even go to 1800, 1795 even down here. I'm not sure, but just this area first, what we got to look at. But I am bullish on it overall. We just got to watch certain price points, and if 1870 breaks, I would say we could take some heavy sells possibly, but still looking for buys up to 1955. And then if that breaks 1970, because you can see a clear range up here too for the bullish scenario, 1970, if price hits 1970, it's just going to fly all the way up to the previous highs. And here I'll show you what the fib looks like on here as well. We start with last week's, how we were already doing it. We can see that we hit the negative 27% basically last week. Pretty much almost played out to its extension target. We could get a move up there again, like a liquidity sweep, and then possibly go down lower. But up here you can see the negative 61.8, 1958. That's where we get the 1955 target from. And then if you go down a bit and extend this from where the move started from, how did I do this earlier? 1 second. From here to here, you get 2050. Then I'm trying to remember how I applied these, but had the extension target, yeah, up here, 2140. This is how I did it. Swing low to swing high, and you can see the 38.2 right here on the weekly time frame. You measure the whole move, it's 1816, 1815. The 23%, 23.6% retracement level is 1870 right here. So price needs to continue from down here for it to be bullish, but if it breaks, then we could see 1815 and down in this area where 1780, 1800 is, 1795 is the 50%. So 1815, 1780, 1795, that price range is a possibility based on the higher time frame off the weekly time frame. But overall extensions, you can see where these line up and that it is possible. Moving on, we'll go to the NASDAQ. NASDAQ had a big bullish move Friday. That was nice to see right off this major key level. And if we look on the daily time frame here, it just looks like it's going to come back and retest, pull back into into this area. There's 1145 and then there's 1135 price range. You can see this is where the previous week's low was, this is where the major high was. So really I would like to see something like this. The fib extension target was at 166.5, or not 0.5, 11650. So if we get a rejection from there, like a push up, market open, liquidity sweep, then move down to either retest here or here, it'd be very nice for a bullish continuation up to 1175, 1180 price range, 11850, right up here where that blue line is. this area. This would be a nice, really nice trade right here. And if you apply the risk to reward tool from down here up to this potential target, 11750 is 3 to 1, 5 to 1 if stops are down here at 113. And if the retest happens from right here, stops down here, it's a 2 to 1. And if you're able to catch the low, it'd be still a 3 to 1. Possibly even tighter if it rejects from like right in this price range, but still both really high probability situations. You can definitely scale in and catch most of that move. But this is what I'm seeing for the Nasdaq, just to pull back down to 1145 price range. I'm going to set an alert there, and then 1135 where this blue line is. And if the previous week's low breaks, then I would say, we might end up filling down this into this price range down here. But based on how we close the strong bullish candle, higher low point continuation just seems very likely. And we could apply the fibs again, just like we did and on gold. You can measure the previous week. You see the negative 27% pretty much hit, but not on this push. This was at the start of the week, how we just kind of pushed up, and we had that big sell-off. On the weekly, it technically hasn't fulfilled its destination yet, and you can see the negative 61% is 1880, 1850 price range right up here where the blue line is, and where the previous week's high is negative 27. But if we change this from here, say this is the high now and this is the higher low, we begin to get a better picture where the 61.8 is right in between here, which is at 1140, which price could wick down to here or just break past and wick in this area and continue. Either one is very solid, but either way, still seeing 117, 1175, 1180 for the Nasdaq coming up. And if you apply the risk reward, you can see that if we catch it like this is an over 3 to 1, 3.5 to 1 R trade. If it comes down here, like right below 114, and it wicks down to 1139, 1138, quick move down, this would be a over 4 to 1 trade, almost 5 to 1. And if you were just to target the previous highs, it'd be a 3.5 R trade. So very good overall. It just depends if we can get a pullback, but I'm confident that can happen. There's a strong level of what could be possibly support right here, but there's just so much room after just this move up. It really does seem like a higher low point on the intraday timeframes should come through, and then overall continuation. And based on how this wick is on the weekly, there could be a wick fill down here. As long as price doesn't break the previous week's low, this is just going to keep flying. And now we'll go to Audacity and USD CAD. Odd wants to continue higher, but same thing on the weekly. There's a doji candle close, which is really interesting. It does look like we want to move higher, but there is a potential to go lower, just how with gold was looking. If the previous week's low breaks, there's all this room down here at 0.6800 price range, and then we could see a strong move up like that. And on the weekly time frame, you can see that would be a retest of higher time frame broken structure, because right here the high is broke in order to make this new higher high point. So this could be a really good spot to enter. And if it does go below this whole little range, 0.6.8, 0.674, which is how big is that? It's a 50 pip range, but we could see a wick down in this area before a strong bullish move up. So let's move this. If price comes down here, breaks the weekly low, and then creates a higher low down here, and then once it comes back to the highs, it's just a really big move. Really big move. 300 point move, 300 pip move, 250 pip move. That's if we get that big of a retrace. If price wants to hold, the previous week's low, which it is possible. You know, gold might not break its previous week's low either. We'll go back to that in a second. As long as it doesn't break 1880, 1870, then, you know, same situation. But we could get some type of double bottom. I don't want to call it that, but there could be some type of higher low being formed right here after this push. Maybe there wasn't enough buyers in yet, and try to get sellers and make them think this is a lower high point, and then a higher low forms here. Another change of character if you want it, because this was the first push. If you look at it on the 8-hour time frame, you can see first move, possible tap into here to here. You can see this little area. I guess you call that an order block, but an area of demand. Previous lows, a higher low could be formed right in here, and you can apply the fibs as well. If you do it from this move right here, 38.2 and 61.8 line up very nicely in here, but the bearish scenario is this. This is a lower high point from this area that we have these projection targets lining up with exactly our potential higher low point, which is what we're looking at. 683 is probably going to go a little below this. Could hit 682, but I'm really seeing this. Really seeing this zone just as a really high probability area for buys, because if it is a bearish situation, then this is where the sellers are getting out at. But yeah, overall bullish on this, but we might see a steep retracement just like with gold, so we could catch sells earlier in the week before the overall bullish move happens. Lastly, CAD, you can see right here on the right side, this is the 12-hour time frame, major bearish candle, strong lower high point. These previous levels are last week's, 2 weeks ago high and 2 weeks ago's low. You can see the high was broken, which was a liquidity sweep, but the low was not broken, which means a lower low is definitely going to come through, and these were the same exact points we were looking at last week, 1.330, 1.325 right from here. And I did this earlier, but if you apply the fibs, there's just a really nice entry area here. Let's go to the daily. All right, on the left side then, just measure from this candle, the high of the candle, the low, and see where the Fibonacci levels line up. The 61.8 and 38.2 are looking very good for possible retracement up to here, and then a move down. And based on price close below the previous month's low at this level, we could just get a small pullback, then a move down. But based on the other pairs that we're seeing, a steeper retracement does seem likely. So from here to here is a 75 pip retracement. This is a 50 pip retracement. So this really does seem realistic, especially based off the higher time frame. As long as this candle doesn't get engulfed and the highs don't break as such, then, you know, this is still valid for a continuation move. And if we were to enter right here at the 38.2 or even 61.8, this is a 110 pip move, and down to the next projection level is 150, 180 pips, depending where price goes in this area. That would be a, put the stops right here, be a 1.5 hour to possibly a 2 hour trade with a wide stop loss. But if you were to snipe this, and that is the wick right here, you know, 3.5 hour, 3 hour, 2.5 hour trade on USD CAD, possibly. But yeah, so bearish on CAD, but might get a bullish retracement to start the week. Yeah, but as far as for the signals go,